How can I master this? Believe it or not, and this is completely authentic because I didn't plan on that question.
That's why I asked you this question, because you're such an amazing person. It had to be somebody super special in the beginning to kind of mold you, and aside from other, life experiences as well.
And that's when I really got into branding, Brad. It's design, it's marketing, it's branding, it's tools, it's what I know how to do. It was 100% complete alignment with who I am, what I've been looking for, and what I think I was born to do. I mean, I was the loner in high school. I had like 3 friends. I'm very introverted. I'm very, socially awkward. Okay, but it was just everything that it was everything that I was looking for. I would do something and then I would go down. I would do something, I go down. You know what I mean? So I didn't have like a consistency about what I was doing. So I didn't think I had any influence or anything like that. But I was like, I have to make this work because this is my way out. And then when I saw the Builderall paid 100% commission, I did a little bit of math. I was like, okay, how much? I was like, how much do I need to make so that I don't have to? How can I master this? It was sheer bull determination. That's what it was.
Hey, what's going on, everyone, and good evening. And do I have a great special program and a presentation for you today with the one and only Barbie Figueroa. She is amazing, and today's going to be no different, guys. She is one of our main Builderall ambassadors, Builderall affiliates. Her story is super inspiring. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of inspirational moments, and a lot of adversities as well. And I thought this will be the perfect place for us to sit down with her one-on-one, kind of like if we were at a coffee shop somewhere, super personal, where you today, the viewers, are able to watch and have some fun. And it's nothing like what you see in the meetings. This is going to be super personal, and it's your exclusive interview with Builderall, Authentic Stories, with the one and only Barbie Figueroa. How are you?
Hi, Brad. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so grateful that you guys, wanted to sit with me for a little bit so I could share my story to, like you said, hopefully inspire some people, because my story is a lot of up and down. It is a lot of twists and turns. And I think hopefully that at the end, if everyone can take away that, if you put your mind, your heart, and your intention into something, and your actions to match that, you can really do anything, So hopefully that's the message that they get from it.
Absolutely. You have been so inspirational to everyone at Builderall, corporate office, affiliates in general. A lot of people are coming into the Builderall itself over the weekend, and when they see your story, what you put at least out there, they have a perception and a frame of who you are, right? Today I wanted to kind of like get inside your world, and if you can share with us the coming to where you actually began to where the trials and tribulations and where everything is headed, because it's such an amazing story. So let's get into it. I just have a few questions for you. I'm sure everyone's super excited to have you on the show. So who has been the most important person in your life prior to Builderall? Let's start there.
Wow, that is a really good question. Believe it or not, and this is completely authentic because I didn't plan on that question, but I would have to say my mom, to be honest with you. And the reason that it's kind of funny is because I didn't have a really great relationship with my mom growing up. We butted heads a lot. And it was a really difficult relationship. Okay, let me just put it that way. My mom was very strict and things like that, and I'm more of a creative spirit or whatever, and so we butted heads a lot. But the one thing that my mom inspired me with is she always stayed home with us. Well, my dad's a mechanic, a retired mechanic, and my dad was off working a lot, and my mom was at home raising 5 children. And my mom wasn't like the lovey-dovey type, and I tend to like wear my heart on my sleeve, and some people know me for that. Like I'm too lovey-dovey sometimes, you know. But my mom wasn't that way, and it's something that I needed. But looking at it objectively, my mom was just raising 5 children kind of like by herself because my dad was working all day. And so once we got old enough to basically, you know, like kind of like take care of ourselves because we were teenagers or whatever, and once my little brother became of age to go to school, my mom said, you know what, now I want to do something to contribute. Like, she did a really important job raising us 5 kids, but she's like, I want more than that. Now I want to go pursue my passions. So my mom enrolled in beauty school, okay? And she made extra money so that my dad didn't have to take on that whole burden, you know? And I saw that as such an inspirational thing because my mom taught me that you can be a mom, but you can also help contribute. And so that's one of those things that I always wanted to do, you know what I mean? She gave me that inspiration of wanting to stay home with my kids, but also actually kind of like doing my thing that was in my gifts and my talents. And so, yeah, I guess it's really ironic because if you knew my mom's relationship and myself, right? She was probably the last person I would have thought to say that, but my mom totally inspired me. And now, you know, our relationship is mended. I love her. She's wonderful. I'm blessed she's still here. But she is my inspiration because of her, she taught me that, you know, if I put my mind and my persistence into something, that I could be a mom and I could, you know, make money to bring into the home as well. So yeah.
What other lessons did she teach you? It's gonna be good. It's all right. Come on. It's gonna be, like, you know what? Because it's so a question that even when somebody would ask me about my parents and so forth, because we all have them and we all have those moments, and it teaches you a lot, right? And it's such a personal question because when you go into somebody's world and they're willing to open up about their humble beginnings or where they're coming from, and it makes it to where you are today, because you wouldn't be the person you are today without all of these lessons and the, you know, your upbringings. And so it was meant to be. So if I were to ask you, what other lessons have she taught you? Because it made you the strong women and powerful that you are today. That's why I asked you this question, because you're such an amazing person. It had to be somebody super special in the beginning to kind of mold you, and aside from other, you know, life experiences as well.
Yeah, I'm shocked because I didn't, if you knew the way that I thought about my mom before, my mom's also a cancer survivor. So she's taught me that with really strong faith and connection with the family, that you can make it through. You can make it through anything, you know? And so even though I didn't realize, that's why I'm like all like teared up and stuff, because I didn't realize how important she was in my life. Because when we're teenagers, we think we know it all. We really do. And it isn't until you do get older, you do go through some things, and you have children of your own. Not everyone's situation is the same. Obviously, I can only speak from my own experience. But when I look back, you know, now I can say, you know, like my mom was a huge influence in my life, because even though she was rough around the edges, right, she always loved her children, and she always she's a firecracker. She always did her own thing. She survived cancer, 20 years cancer free. So that's a big part of that too. So she is very inspirational because she's that balance of being a strong woman, a strong traditional woman too, because she stayed home and raised us, you know. So she's just a great example, and she's amazing, and I love her. I'm very blessed to still have her, and she is an inspiration for me. So I guess that's where I get it from. That determination, that drive, that want to do more. I get that from my mom for sure. So.
And where was home for you? Where what was that time at? What location? Where did you go to high school, and where were you born?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, if you look at some of these top 10 worst cities in Florida to grow up in, where I grew up kind of made that list a few times. It's called a little town in Hialeah. Okay. It was a little, just you know, I would say kind of like a poor area in Miami. And that's where I grew up, in a little 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom, little tiny house. It was less than, you know, I think my mom told me the other day it was like 950 square foot little home. Me and my 5 brothers and sisters, and I shared a room with my sister. My brothers that were in a bunk bed, you know, so we were in tight quarters. My dad's a mechanic, a retired mechanic. My mom was a hairdresser after she raised us. So I came from, I mean, listen, poor in the sense of the word of, if you compare it to other people in the United States, we were just like blue collar, you know, just getting by type of people. You know?
Right. A lot of love, a lot of work around the family, everyone trying to make it through.
Right.
And then, you know, what was the turning point for you guys in terms of like what you wanted to do in life? Like going into high school, maybe, I don't know if you did or you already knew what you wanted to do, but when you start getting that feeling, the sense of direction where you wanted to go in life?
Okay, well, it starts out really, if you want to really go back, I remember a moment when I was 6 years old that I was like, I want to be a mom. I want to be a stay-at-home mom. I didn't know what that looked like at 6 years old. I didn't know anything like that, you know, but I just knew that I wanted to be the kind of mom that would, you know, be there with her kids and talk to her kids. I didn't have that real communication with my mom, so that's kind of like the things that I wanted. So even though I didn't know what my career path was, I had literally no idea what my career path was. I did feel like that one thing was part of what I wanted in my future. You know what I mean? And then when I was in high school, I did get into journalism and creative writing, which is funny because I tell my kids, you know, you never know exactly where you're going to end up, but there's always like a common thread in the things that you are good at and that you like and enjoy. And so I did, like I said, journalism and creative writing. Those are the areas that I excelled. And I was in drama club, right? So I tell my kids, look, I wasn't like this actress, and I didn't go work for a newspaper, but what do I do for a living? Marketing, and I have my YouTube channel. So that common thread still followed me. But I would say the pivotal moment, Brad, was when I was working in a construction company. I was working as a secretary inside of an interior contractor, for an interior contractor, and I found out that I was pregnant with my first son. I've told this story before, but I was pregnant with my first son, and I was like 6 weeks along, and I was at the fax machine, and my boss at the time, he was like, I don't know if you want me to really tell this story, but I mean, I've told it before, but he's like, you know, how far along, you know, like, how far along are you? I was like, I'm 6 weeks, you know? And he's like, oh, and are you still in that time where something can happen? And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, yeah, like, aren't you still in that place where something can still happen to the baby, right? Like, are you gonna have a miscarriage? I mean, can you still have a miscarriage? And I was like, oh, well, I guess so, but I hope you're not wishing it on me, right? And I was
This is your boss?
Yeah, it's my boss.
Wow.
Yeah. And he was like, I don't want pregnant women to work here. You know what I mean? Like it's just not what he wanted. So I was at the fax machine at that moment, and I was like, my heart sank, obviously, but it was a pivotal moment, and it was actually the defining moment at that fax machine, because in that moment I was like, I have to plan my escape from this thing, because I cannot be in a position, right? Because my dream was to be with my children. So I've got this boss who doesn't want me to he doesn't want to employ me past when I, give birth and stuff. And I'm thinking in my head, well, what if my baby has a doctor appointment? And do I really want to run to daycare every day and drop my baby off and all that stuff? And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I literally have no clue, but I need to get out of this situation. You know what I mean? And so for the next 7.5 months, I planned my escape from that rat race. And I just got on the phone and I was like, do you know anyone that knows how to work from home? And this is like 20 years ago. So working from home wasn't like a thing. So it was like finding a needle in a haystack, things like eBay were just starting to emerge. I mean, this is like back then, so I was like, but I was relentless, and I was like, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I have to do this. Like I could not picture the alternative. I couldn't picture getting up early in the morning, dropping off my child at daycare, going to work, driving out. I could not picture that life. It just didn't fit in my picture, in my vision. So anyway, long story short, about right before I gave birth, I had a friend who was working in a construction company as well. And she's like, I know someone that knows someone that they work from home working for this company as an at-home operator. They're having, some sort of seminar on the weekend. Do you want to go? I'm like, tell me when. I'm there. And I went. I was like, I had to invest like $300 into a special computer and a special phone line. But I was like, this is my way out. And I did that. And that's how I started, So.
Let me ask you about that escape, right? That you had to do. When you got home that evening, right? What was going through your mind? All right, so now, okay, I definitely going to have this child. I'm probably going to lose this job anyway. So now the pressure is setting in. A lot of doubts. Should I do it? Should I not? I'm sure that night a lot of things are going through your mind. What was that thing aside from the child that you're like, I'm going to do this. There's no turning back. Either I'm going all in or I'm not going to do this thing. Like what was that turning point aside from what happened early in the office? Because were you living with your husband at the time, or were you married?
Oh, yeah. I was married. I've been married with my husband for 20 years. It was our first child, and we'd been married already for like 2.5 years. He was trying to get a business off the ground as well. So I'm married. I'm working. He's trying to get a little business off the ground, and we're just like, we're struggling. We are major struggling, but that was my driving force. It was, I cannot see this other alternative. It was, first of all, it was too expensive to then go put them in daycare and all that stuff. So it was my children that drove me. I was like, I got blinded, Brad. I have to do this. There was no option. There was no plan B. I don't have, like his mom had to work. My parents worked. I didn't have anyone to take care of my kids or anything like that. So it was just.
What's your nationality? Are you Italian, Spanish?
Cubana, Cuban. But I was born here. But my parents are Cuban. My husband's Cuban, legit. Like he came from Cuba. I'm here, born here. But my parents are Cuban, so we got a little bit of Latino spice, I guess. But
right on.
It was for me. It was do or die. It was do or die. It was do or die. That was
okay.
it.
So let's talk about those first attempts at online marketing. The first sparks, we don't have to mention the company names, but the first trials and tribulations, how they work out, and then let's talk about the introduction to Builderall. And then how did that start it out in the beginning?
Well, after I started working from home, it was great. I did great. The company was great. I made pretty much as I was at my job. So that was just like, Thank God, everything worked out right, right? But as my baby started getting like 9 months where he could walk around and stuff like that, yeah, he was getting like, when you do an at-home operator job, you got to close the door and it's got to sound like you're in a call center. Like they can't hear babies in the background. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, so this phase has to kind of end. My husband's business was finally starting to take off. So I was like, okay, but I still wanted to make my own stuff. You know what I mean? And, help contribute to the family household, So I was like, all right. So I did makeup, selling makeup. I love makeup. I don't want to be in a makeup company, but I do like it. But my mom's probably comes from my mom's a beautician, so it probably came from there. But anyway, I sold makeup. I was the girl that, and if you guys are familiar with this company, I would pass out those little booklets where people would order makeup and you would go to their house and deliver them. I did all that stuff, but it was just a pittance. You know what I mean? And then one day, I don't know why the internet started coming up and I was like, I needed to get something and I needed to get it at a good price. And I heard about eBay. So I went to eBay to buy something. And I was like, wait a minute, maybe I can sell stuff on eBay, And so I started selling clothes on eBay, right? But in the beginning, it was like everything else, like even in marketing. When you're new, you don't know what the heck you're doing. So I was just listing clothes and it just wasn't taking off. It wasn't working, But I did see this one lady, she was selling the exact same things that I was, but her presentation was better. Her keyword titles were better. Her pricing was higher. And I was like, I need to study what this woman is doing. Like, what is she doing? I mean, her stuff was like, she was like one of the most popular stores on eBay. And that's when I really got into branding, Brad, because I realized that the difference between the store that was struggling and the store that was really doing well was branding and marketing. Right. And that's when I was like, oh, I like this, like I need to crack that nut. I need to find out why she's doing so well. So I started modeling her. I bought a mannequin. I started doing better pictures, better titles, better keywords, everything. And one more thing, I branded my store. So my husband had told me, you should do something on the internet, maybe do some web design or something like that. We can get some clients, whatever. But at that time, I was like, it was all about like front page and Photoshop for all you old web designers. You know what I'm talking about, where you have to slice up a Photoshop website and then import it into front page. And I was like, but when I saw Photoshop, I was like, ooh, because my creative stuff came out. I was like, oh, I love color. I love this, I love that. So anyway, long story short, I ended up designing my own eBay store. I did a little brand. It was like a little chintzy little thing, but I did my own little brand. I made it look like an actual store. So with the new pictures, with the new keyword titles, and then I was like, branding is not just the purchase; it's what comes after the purchase. So I made sure that when I wrapped up my stuff, it was in like little pink tissue and it had a cute little card and a little sticker on the thing. Like, it was the whole experience.
It was the overall presentation, that first glance at your brand, when somebody opens the wrap to when they get the gift. What were you selling, by the way?
Just women's clothes, but it was just like, God, I've learned so much, like just School of Hard Knocks, because I learned that, the profit margin's small. You get left with a lot of overstock, and it's just, but it taught me so much, you know what I mean? But yeah, it was about that. It was about the whole experience. It was about from the time they go to the store, to the time they make a purchase, to how you interact with people, to when they receive their package, and then they give you feedback. So that was kind of like,
and then you're sending the package, because remember, it's a physical product. You had to go ship it out, bring it back in.
Yeah. So, but I'm the type of person that I'm really good at seeing concepts, right? So I can see something that's right in front of my face. Some people can't see that. I can see something that's right in front of my face. So when I saw that process, right, and it was so successful, I was like, how do I bring this process to internet marketing, right? Because I know it works, right? But anyway, how I transitioned from eBay to internet marketing was that I was always at my computer. I was always listing. It was like if I wasn't listing, I wasn't making money. So I was constantly listing. It was just a lot of work. So one day I just asked myself, how can I make money when I'm not at my computer? Like I'm like literally always at my computer. Like I was good at creating myself jobs, right? But how can I make myself how can I make money even when I'm not at my computer? Oh, and by the way, I forgot to tell you the part where after the eBay stuff, since people saw my store, I totally forgot this part. When people saw my store and they started seeing that, oh wow, she's doing pretty well. They saw my store and they're like, oh my God, your store is so cute. Will you design my store? So that's how I got into web design for people. And I was like, wait a minute. When I'm doing eBay, I'm like listing. I'm making pennies in profit, you know. And then, but if I just do one design job, you know, I can make whatever, $800, whatever it was I was charging at the time with just one person. I was like, pivot, I'm going to start doing web design for eBay stores. And that's what I started doing. But then that got tiring because it's trading time for money. It's like, if I'm not designing, I always have to be on my computer to get paid. So that's when the light bulb went off. Like how can I make money when I'm not on my computer? So I started to hear about affiliate marketing, but I didn't really know what it was. All I knew is that like if someone clicked on the link and bought something, like you could make a little commission or something, because I saw some of the girls on eBay doing it. But it was like, I did it, I would put like links on my website and like I would make like, you know, like 25 cents if someone bought something or whatever. I was like, okay, this is not gonna work, but how can I make this bigger, you know? And then one thing led to another, and
hold on. So back in the days, they used to ship you the check, remember? So it used to take maybe a month to get there, or a few days, right? And then I don't think at that point in time it was super fast like it is today.
Oh, absolutely no. Well, back then I never. Back then, I'm talking around like 2007, 2008. Back then, I didn't even make enough money to get a check. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, they pay through checks. They didn't have that instant stuff that we have now. Forget it. Now it's like, man, now if you're not in this game, you are missing out because it's so much easier. I mean, even back then, when we get into Builderall, I mean, that's why I love Builderall so much, because when
so let's stop for a second and just realize the moment what you just said. Think about it. Back in the days, we used to get checks. It used to be like taking 2 weeks to get here. Today's like instantly, right? You request your payments on a Wednesday, you get paid on Thursday, then you just transfer to your account, bingo, done. That moment right there, why isn't a lot of people or other people just like, they don't see it, right? The opportunity that's here. Or maybe they do, just getting started, they don't know how to get started, but it's such a great moment in time with technology.
It is, Brad. When I first got started, I was doing lead capture pages with HTML. There was no Builderall. There was no like these instant lead capture page thingies. You had to kind of know how to build it yourself. But since I had a web design background, I knew how to create. I don't even think WordPress was really a thing yet. I don't know exactly when it took off, but that whole building the lead capture pages and instant that did not really exist. If you had some HTML skills, you were ahead of the game. You know what I mean? So anyway, the way that I started was I was like, you know, one thing I want the audience to take away is when you start asking better questions, you start getting better answers, right? And so I've always, when I've kind of taken my next step, I don't ask, oh God, why am I in this situation? Or why am I, no, I'm like, how can I? You know what I mean? And I was like, how do I escape the rat race? How do I make money when I'm not on my computer? How can I leverage whatever? And those answers start to come to you. You got to ask yourself better questions, you know? And so when I asked that, I was like, man, I got to make more than just 25 cents when someone clicks on a link. Like, how can I get better at this? And so my first attempt at internet marketing was with a high ticket program that I paid $2,000 for, right? And then, so in my mind, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to calculate how many sales I have to make in order to like make a lot of money. Because we all do that when we get started. We're like, how many sales do I have to make so I can make this much money, blah, blah. And so it's like, okay, great. So now I got to actually go out there and get people to buy this. I had no authority, no credibility. Nobody knew me. But I would just go out in forums and I was a spammer. That's why when people are like, oh, what, you know, oh, how'd you get here? I was a spammer too. I think we all start there. Is that some of us say, well, some of us say this didn't work, but some of us say, how can I master this? And that was me. How do I master this? How do I get good at it? How do I become a better marketer? Because I realized the product can be amazing, but how are you going to move that product? You know what I mean? And that's when the marketing stuff comes into play, the branding, the marketing, all that. So all of a sudden, all that experience that I had from before, I was like, how do I put these puzzle pieces together so that I can bring it in this space, you know? So anyway, but I was new. I just didn't get the whole thing, you know what I mean? And so, you know, what happened? I didn't even make a sale. I realized I had to do marketing. So I was like, I got to start learning how to drive traffic and things like that. So then I spent another $500 on Google pay-per-click AdWords. It was a failure because I didn't know what I was doing. So I was just trying to drive traffic to a link. We don't do that. We need lead capture pages. Thank you, Builderall. We need lead capture pages, right? You don't send traffic to a link, and that's what I was doing. So I lost $500, so it was $2,000 for the program.
Right, so you're already $2,500 in the hole, and here we go. And you're just testing things out, right? You're like, okay, all in, $2,500 already in, pressure's starting to set in. Am I going to lose my money? Am I not? You know, and then what else I'm going to do? And then you took a chance upon yourself. Baby's on the way, right? Or he's a.
By that time, I already had all three. I have 3 children, 3 boys.
Got it.
But Brad, wait a minute, because it's not over. Because I was like, okay, I'm at $2,500. I am not going to walk away from this. I am in it. I got to make this work. So I was like, I need training. I need training. So then somebody said, if I can show you how to start generating leads online, would that be something of interest to you? So I was like, I'm all about that. They're like, okay, well, you got to jump through a few hoops. You got to get on the phone, you got to answer some questions, blah, blah. So the guy positioned himself in a way where I had to contact him. So I got on the phone and he's like, okay, we're going to teach you how to do video marketing to generate leads and all that stuff. And it's a $2,000 program. So I was like, okay, $2,000 here, $500. I put that on a credit card, of course, right? Because I didn't have that kind of money. But anyway, and then so I was like, you know what? I'm going to go all in. I'm going to learn what these people teach me. I'm going to apply what I learn. And that's it. I get blinded, Brad. That's what happens to me. When I believe in something, I get blinded. And I just put the blinders on and I just go, go, go. So anyway, long story short, I applied what I learned, and within 30 days, I made my first $3,000 commission online.
Wow. So okay, all right. So now we're starting like, wow, this actually works. So you were at 4,500 in, and then boom, the guy was legit. He taught you some skills, you executed, and then now you get your first big commission. How did that feel?
Amazing. Because I felt, what is it? Not justified, but I felt like, oh my God, it works. It works. I just, internet marketing is not a scam. Okay. It's not. It is like everything else. It is, you're coming into something where you're brand new. You have no skills. You don't know what you're doing. You got to find a good source to get your training, your tools, your things from, right? There's trustworthy. I get it. There's a lot of junk out there, but you buy from someone that is good, that has results, that can, that's legit. And then you apply what you learn, and that's exactly what I did. It was like an education, just like a doctor has to go to school to learn how to be a doctor. An online marketer has to go through, I went through the school of hard knocks. I went through trial and error. You know what I mean? But once I got that little piece of the puzzle, boom, it worked. Now there's more to the story, Brad. We can be here all day, because what happens is that sometimes you have pieces of the puzzle, but you don't have the big picture, right? because after that I realized I didn't know about funnels. I didn't know how to sell on an automated way. I knew how to put up a lead capture page that would get people to that sales page, but I didn't know about like follow-up emails, and I didn't really, I mean, I knew about it, but I didn't implement it really. So, you know, so anyway, that thing disappeared. And then I had to go back to web design. Web design was always like my fallback, you know, like if something in internet marketing didn't work, it was always my fallback, right? So fast forward a few years, because I had a brief success in network marketing, but I didn't have leverage. I didn't use funnels. I didn't do any of that. So a lot of it was me on my phone on social media trying to sponsor people and all that stuff. And that was actually putting a wedge in between my family, because I was always on the phone, always on Facebook trying to get people to buy my stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like sometimes I knew what to do, but I didn't know all the puzzle pieces and how to put everything together, right? So anyway,
did the entire family believe in you, or there's a lot of people maybe internally saying, I don't know, but let's just let your mom do her thing. We're just gonna figure out how this is gonna play out.
I have to thank my husband, because my husband, he's like, just go learn what you got to learn. Go do what you got to do. He believed in me because he knows that I'm like, but he saw a lot of my ups and downs. But the one with the network marketing one, where I didn't have any leverage or whatever, there he kind of gave me an ultimatum where, how long are you gonna struggle out this before you just let it go? You know what I mean? Because it's not paying you a lot of money, and you got to make a decision. You got to do something, because even though he's usually carried most of it, sometimes it's just there was no wiggle room. So it's like I needed to bring in some money. I had to, you know what I mean? So then what happened after that? So he gave me that ultimatum. So I ended up going back to web design, because that network marketing thing didn't work. So I was like, you know what? Forget all this. I'm just going to go back to web design. Maybe that's my path. I did enjoy it because of I enjoy aspects of it, but I did not enjoy that I kept on trading time for money. That's just me. Some people love that, but I didn't. I wanted to be able to teach. I light up when I see people take action, when I teach them things. And I'm not going to lie. I wanted to make money when I wasn't on my computer, period. You know what I mean? I wanted to. That's why whoever the genius is that programmed the cha-ching sound into the Builderall system, I'm like, that was genius, right? Because that was very motivational. But anyway.
Right, so you already had the branding intact. You already knew about branding and marketing. Then now all of a sudden, like, if I could just integrate automation into this, we may be onto something.
Yes. So it's like I knew the things, but it's like a jagged puzzle. It's like you try this thing, but then you don't put all the puzzle pieces to, like, it was disjointed. It's like, you have all the puzzle pieces and they're scattered on a table, but you just didn't know how to put them all together. That's kind of like where I was at. I knew branding, I knew about marketing, I knew about that, but I didn't know how to put all the puzzle pieces together so that it would work in a just a beautiful flow. You know what I mean? And then, so I went back to web design, and then I did that for 2 years. I was not enjoying working.
So you're doing like web designing and everything, but at the same time, everything is still here. All the pieces, the parts and everything. And in between, while working for 2 years, doing your designs for your clients, you're still in the back of your mind, man, I got these 4 pieces here. If I could just stitch this thing together and kind of figure it out, I could really get out of this whole web designing thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I was like, I didn't want to, because I didn't want to like scale, and I didn't want to have like employees doing web. That wasn't that it didn't fit. I'm a feeling type of person, Brad. And when things don't fit, it doesn't feel right to me. I don't like map out everything. I'm kind of like a feeling type of person. And I just, something just didn't feel right. But then we got hit by that hurricane in 2017. Hurricane Irma came to where I live in South Florida in the fall of September 2017, And I had just finished a client project, and I didn't have any clients in the pipeline, because if any of you guys are freelancers and you know that when you're working on a project, if you don't have a whole bunch of people working for you and it's kind of like you're like a one-man show, you still have to do marketing. There's a product and then there's marketing. And if I was working on a project, I wasn't actively marketing to get more people in, other than like a request for quote link on my website. That was really it, but I wasn't out there really marketing. So basically for 8 years, Brad, I'm like this, up, down, up, down, up, down. You know, it was just, I consider myself like I was a mess. I wasn't consistent. I wasn't completely focused. And then I would just go back to what I knew, which is the web design, until the hurricane hit. The hurricane hit. We were out of it for like 21 days. I didn't have any more clients in the pipeline. I didn't have any more like money coming in, because I didn't have any residual or anything like that coming in. It was just the project that I had just done before. And then I was like, I'm 45 years old at that time. And I was like, enough is enough. Enough is a freaking enough. I need to make this affiliate marketing, leverage, passive income stuff work, or I don't know what the heck I'm going to do, you know? So I was like, man, I need something to come across my path that uses my gifts, my strengths, my talents in branding, in marketing, in design. I need something like that. Because I would do like things that didn't have anything to do with what I'm good at, you know, like, you know, supplements, this and that. I'm like, no, I needed something that aligned with what I was good at. I also needed, it was a tall order, Brad. It was a tall order. I needed something that I could make money when I wasn't on my computer. I needed something where I could grow like people and help them rise up like I had to. You know, I wanted to teach. I wanted to share what I knew. I wanted to pay it forward, you know. And I love tools. I'm a tool geek. I love tinkering with, you know, putting things together, and like that's why I did enjoy building funnels. I just didn't enjoy working for clients. I'll sit there and build a funnel for myself, you know, and now I do it for my team and I love it. But it's just something I didn't like doing it for clients. I just didn't like it, right? But and then I was on Facebook one day, and somebody made a big mistake. But anyway, I was on Facebook one day and I saw somebody say, I just became a Builderall ambassador. And I was like, what? Builderall ambassador? What is that? I had no idea what it was, right? This was in 2000. This was in around March of 2018. It was just a few months after the hurricane and stuff like that, because it took us a little time to recover, but around March is when it actually showed up. So I was like, when I heard the name Builderall, remember I got a construction background and I build things. I've been on construction. My background when I was working in the construction industry, you know, and I build websites. So when I heard the word Builderall, I was intrigued. I was like, what is this, right? So I was like, oh my gosh. So I started Googling, I went to YouTube, started seeing reviews, found my sponsor, and I was like, oh my gosh, I think this is it. I think this is it. If the tool is good, I'm in. Because I've seen stuff out there that's kind of like, you go and it's kind of like garbage, but I just had this thing in my heart. I was like, oh my gosh, I think this is the answer. I think this is the answer. When I saw the website, Brad, and I saw the beautiful colors of Builderall and their branding, and it was so inviting and friendly, I just got this warm and fuzzy vibe about the whole thing, and it didn't feel too like stuffy or serious or corporate or whatever. It felt like home. Like I wanted to be a part of that thing. I can tell just from a website, you know, it's the first impression. And so I took the 7-day free trial, and by day 3, I signed up. And I told my sponsor, I'm going to run like crazy. This is do or die for me. It was another do or die moment. And I was like, I'm going to run. I'm going to run hard. And that's exactly what I did. I didn't have a warm market because I had kind of like, for 2 years, I was in web design, so I wasn't building an audience or anything like that. I had a few people that knew me from stuff that I'd done before, but in my mind, I was such a flake because I never really like was consistent or stable or growing. You know, I would do something and then I would go down. I would do that, I go down. You know what I mean? So I didn't have like a consistency about what I was doing. So I didn't think I had any influence or anything like that. But I was like, I have to make this work because this is my way out. And then when I saw the Builderall paid 100% commission, I did a little bit of math. I was like, okay, how much? I was like, how much do I need to make so that I don't have to take another client next month? That was my thought process, right? And it wasn't much. It wasn't much. It was like less than $1,000 or something like that. So I was like, I can make this. I can do this. I can freaking do this. Okay. So what I did, and I'm an introvert. I get very nervous about approaching people about sales and stuff like that. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to set up a lead capture page using their system. And back then I didn't know nothing. I still didn't even know how to use the builder. I didn't watch a bunch of tutorials. I just went back there and that page is still out there. If you guys want to look, my first Builderall video, it is just a simple little aqua blue page. And I'm sitting in a sweater in my office and I'm sitting there like, hi guys. And I'm telling my story about how I got into this thing or whatever. And I'm looking for people that want to join me and stuff. And I was like, I was so nervous and I was like, I'm going to make an announcement on Facebook. That's why when I tell people, try it, because I did it and I was scared to death. I don't like posting a lot of salesy stuff on my Facebook, but I did it and I got a bunch of people were like, oh, I want to know what you're doing. I want to know what you're doing. I want to know, what is this? Because it was 100% commission. It was recurring income, right?
It started to click. The buzz started getting out there online.
Yes, and all the puzzle pieces started to come together. It's design, it's marketing, it's branding, it's tools, it's what I know how to do, it's what I enjoy doing. I have leverage. I have, I can build a team, I can teach, I can coach. It was 100% complete alignment with who I am, what I've been looking for, and what I think I was born to do. You know what I mean? Outside of being a mom to my kids.
So let me ask you this. How did it felt when you were actually, now there's people coming in, they're believing in you, now you're teaching them, and you start to see, wow, I can do this. I got a great platform now, and I have to teach others. And you start to become this little influencer within, right? And then like, I want to do this for the rest of my life. I really want to just get out there. I want to teach people everything. You start to become like Super Barbie.
And I don't see myself that way at all. I know people think, oh, that's cheesy. Oh, I don't. I still get nervous before we get on the meetings. I'm just like I said, I'm just like a goofy girl, you know what I mean? I was the loner in high school. I had like 3 friends. I'm very introverted. I'm very, socially awkward. Okay. But it was just everything that was everything that I was looking for, and I just, what drives me, Brad, is that for me, it's amazing to make money. But for me, it's like, I wanted more than just that. I wanted to fulfill a purpose. And I feel like when you are connected to a purpose, that's what gets you up in the morning. That's what makes you want to go out there and do your YouTube videos. I do not monetize my YouTube channel, so I have no incentive at all to do my videos. I could literally just shut it down and whatever, and it doesn't make a difference. Well, let me not say that. I use YouTube to drive traffic to my stuff, but I don't make money off my videos. I literally just get up twice a week, do my videos do 2 videos a week, because I've gotten to the point that I love serving my audience. I want to help them. You know what I mean? And yes, of course, it drives traffic to my websites, and people may or may not opt in. People may or may not join. I don't know. You know what I mean? But once you start getting, when I was doing the web design stuff, I started to do a couple of videos on it, and it was kind of like crickets. I didn't get a lot of traction. But as I started to share within the Builderall, like my strengths in Builderall, which is lead capture pages and digital marketing and stuff like that.
Are you sharing these videos? Were you sharing at the time these videos inside the Facebook groups as well, or Builderall, or just on YouTube? It's strictly YouTube.
All YouTube.
And people were searching Builderall at the time. Your videos starting to come up.
I did this all. By the way, I signed up 4 people my first week of Builderall. One person, 1 or 2 people actually knew me. One person saw my YouTube video. I think maybe 3 people knew me. Maybe 3 people knew me, and 1 girl I had just met from YouTube. She saw one of my videos, okay? The rest was pure, persistent action, showing up, doing YouTube video after YouTube video after YouTube video after YouTube. I didn't even go into any Facebook group. I don't post in Facebook groups. I don't do any of that stuff. It was sheer bull determination. That's what it was. And I remember in eBay, it's all about keywords. So I'm like, you know, what are some of the things that the people that need Builderall, what kind of things are they looking for? What would they be looking for? So I was like, I need to intercept that person when they're doing a search. So that was my mind frame. I need to do videos that will intercept my ideal customer. So I'm right there when they Google and, you know, and I show up, you know what I mean? That's what it is. And with Builderall, it's so easy because there's so many awesome tools inside of Builderall. It's easy. It's so easy.
Barbie, let me ask you a question. The $1 million question that somebody is watching this, and I think what's going through their mind, it would be this question. What is the secret, right? Because like Builderall has everything. Then you have so much talent, you know, about marketing and branding, but it's really not a secret, right? It's just about executing what you learn. You have the community. You have all the tools. You cannot blame the platform. The platform and the tools are there to, you know, I would say the right word, to implement your story, your execution, your marketing, your branding, and everything. It propels you forward. It's there. So it's not the tool that brings in the clients and it gets people inspired. And it's pretty much you coming together with Builderall and you guys just go.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of a couple of things. It's a combination of the seen and the unseen, right? The seen is you got Builderall. You've got a great tool. It is, for me, I love Builderall because it has so many things to offer. For me, the unseen part is purpose, intention, the intangible stuff that you cannot really see. And that is something that each one of us has to discover inside of us. Why are you here? What do you want to do? What is your purpose? What is your ultimate outcome? What do you want from all this? It has to be more than, in my opinion, it has to be more than just money. Because what drives, at least me, my fuel is purpose and passion for what I do. Passion for helping people, for being present for my kids, for giving them a better life than I had. You know what I mean? So when you attach whatever it is that you're doing to a bigger purpose, then you'll show up. Then you'll do the work. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a lot of it. It has to do with that, Brad. You know what I'm saying? Because you can give someone the keys to a Ferrari, but if you don't put those keys in the engine and you don't back it out, I mean, it's just a Ferrari. You know what I'm saying? So it all has to do with the driver as well, you know? So we have an amazing tool. We have an amazing community. I mean, I have never, ever, ever, ever stuck to anything, a business opportunity per se, right? For it's been already March, April, May, June, July, a year and a half. I've been with Builder a year and a half.
A year and a half, and you're one of the top affiliates at Builderall. What a journey, huh?
It's been an incredible journey because I feel like my story, what my story boils down to is, it is that, like if you have, you know, if you have a vision of what you want, your ultimate outcome, what is your ultimate outcome? Your ultimate outcome of what you want. What do you want in your life? For me is, I wanted to build a business that also allowed me to have a life. I didn't want to be on my computer all day. I wanted to be able to work a few hours and still make money when I wasn't around, right? When I just spent the whole day at the beach yesterday with my brother for his birthday, right? And I still made sales. That is my dream come true. That's my dream come true, right? I could be on my family and I'm still making money when I'm not on my computer. That wasn't an accident. that was very, even though it was, it seems like an accident of how I got there, but it was just a journey of ups and downs, trial and error, and then finally coming into alignment with, like I said, what I'm good at, what I love, and then this community. Because there's other softwares out there, but there is nothing out there like this community. And it starts with Eric Salgado, to be honest, because when I heard Eric's story, and that's why it's, let's kind of like come full circle with this whole authentic story thing. When I heard Eric's story, because I was still skeptical, I don't know, a lot of people don't probably know this, but I would watch some of the meetings, and I'm sitting there in the meeting trying to figure out, are these people for real? Or are they just a bunch of other like fly-by-night gurus? You know what I mean? Like, can I really trust these people?
You couldn't put it together yet.
I was too new to really, truly trust completely. This is just like on my first couple of weeks, So, but then I heard Eric go on for like 3 hours in a meeting, as he does, which I love, right? Because I love to hear him talk. And I love to hear Shelly and everybody, And when I heard his story, I was like, man, that sounds so much like our journey, like me and my husband's journey, And then I saw his love and passion for his family. I was like, this is home. This is home. Everything was in alignment. You know what I mean? Builderall is so much more than just a tool. But for me, it is the best tool, Brad, because literally we could talk all day, right? Because Builderall has changed my life in so many ways. It's changed my life in the fact that I was able to make my dream come true of building a business that also allows me to have a life and create that, man, that 100% commission. Don't sleep on that. That's like, no, not hardly anyone pays 100% commission. That's like amazing, and then you got the recurring income. It's like, think about being an affiliate you're an affiliate for a web hosting company. People don't usually cancel web hosting because they need to have their websites running. They need to have their funnels running. So it's one of the most stable incomes I've ever been a part of, ever, And
it's crazy because it's super early in the game, because you created already the foundation within Builderall, and watch what Builderall is going to be within 3, 4, 5 years from now. And technology is going to get even better, and the communication system. But I'm appalled, and I'm like, oh my God, my brain's like blown by your story. It's super an amazing story, and it's super incredible. I just don't know how you did it, but I guess what I'm getting out of all this, like, when you need to do what you need to do, when it's do or die, you just go. You don't even think, right? If you were to stop and think today, if you were to do it all over again, you're probably like, I don't know about that. Right. You're like, I'm just going. Boss gave me the ultimatum. F him. I'm sticking with the family. We're about to do this. We're going to have the baby. We're going to go out there, get this internet thing going. And then I'm still doing the graphic thing with trying to do this on the side. And it's almost like driving the bus and like, I don't know, when I'm done with this 9 to 5, I'm going to get back in this thing. I'm going to figure this thing out, because one of these days this thing is going to click and I'm going to be all right. And then you just keep going and keep going. You're getting clients. Then you kind of like hate it because you're working for other people. And then you're trying to still figure this thing out. And you're doing the night shift, right? Doing the family dinners. And then right before bed, you go into the computer trying to like brainstorm back in the lab. It's called the lab, right? We're all been there like to 2 in the morning. Okay, they're sleeping. I'm going to try to get this and I'll figure this out. Yep. But when everything starts clicking, and then Builderall came into play and you started, seeing the opportunities out there, I felt like you already had such a branding skills, marketing skills, experience, and it's almost like everything just fell into place. The time was right, the experience was right, and there was the right tool.
Dude, you freaking nailed that in a nutshell. That nutshell recap was awesome. Exactly. That's what it was. It is. I didn't think too much. I just took action. And my team, I tell them, you have to have faith, focus, and massive action. Okay. Faith that if you can't think, you just got to jump. Like when Neo jumps over the building, don't look down. You just got to keep going. And you know that you can course correct along the way. You're not going to, if you make a mistake, I don't believe like you can make like a you learn from your mistakes, you know, or mistakes. I don't even know if that's a great word. You learn from everything. You learn from all your experiences, and you course correct along the way. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, are you going to struggle a little bit along the way? Probably. There's going to be times, but you know what? I also tell my team this: the journey tells you what you're made of. The journey tells you, yeah, the journey tells you what you're made of. Because if you're willing to go through that stress, the struggle, the up, the down, or whatever, and you pay your dues and you go through that process, you know, the reward on the other side is so worth it. And if you were to tell me again, if you were to ask me, it's funny that you said that, Barb, how did you do it? Honestly, sometimes I don't even remember, and I don't know how. I can kind of tell you the story, but like some people ask me, well, tell me exactly what you did. It's not just what I did, it's what I thought, it's how I acted, it's the things that I didn't do. It's a lot, you know what I'm saying? But what I do know is this. We have everything you need to succeed inside of Builderall as far as having a vehicle. You know what I mean? We have that Ferrari. We have that vehicle. We have a great compensation plan. We have a great product, a legitimate product that you can go to bed at night and sleep like a baby, because we have an actual tool that provides value that people need to build their business. It isn't just like a scammy little pill that's here today, gone tomorrow. People actually use our product. So that's a big thing for me. I want it to be a part of something. If I'm going to put my name on something, and for a long, long, long time, it has to be a legit product, right? So we have that. We have a great compensation plan. We have now money, and we have recurring money. So it's like a double reward. You make money now, and you make money every single month. And then there's the reward of paying it forward. What you learn, you pass that torch forward, you teach it to other people. And by that act, you attract more people, which is amazing. You know what I'm saying? And then we have an amazing community. We have for me, Builderall is everything I've ever wanted. And I didn't know I was finally going to get here, you know? So for me, I love Builderall, and oh my gosh, I know I sound like a.
You know what's crazy though? Like, your videos are timeless. They're gonna be on the internet until the end of time, until somebody turns like the internet thing off, right? Because if you don't delete your videos, they're going to be there time and time and time and again for, man, many years to come. I'm sure your future grandkids are able to, like, you know, go there and see their grandmother on YouTube talking about.
That's embarrassing. I know. My son actually was Googling some stuff, and he's like, Mom, I found your video the other day. I'm like, that's embarrassing. But that's another part of my plan. That's my leverage plan. That's why I love video, because once you do video, boom, that keeps working for me. And I've got videos out there with thousands of views. So that's like me working in my sleep, and I don't actually have to be there. So when you put the power of video with the power of the funnels and the website that Builderall has for us, that we can build in Builderall, forget it. I mean, that is like a leverage machine. And so finally, thankfully, I'm so grateful and so happy that everything, I honestly, Brad, there was a time in my life where I thought, I'm 45 years old. Is this ever going to truly happen for me? Am I going to be that? I felt really depressed at one point, because I'm like, man, am I finally everything gonna click? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it did, and I'm so grateful to be here, because it's just a culmination of so many things. And Builderall was a huge. Builderall is kind of like that glue that puts everything together, that put all the puzzle pieces together for me. And like I tell Shelly, I've told her I'm here till the wheels fall off.
I got one last question for you. When it's all said and done, what do you want to be remembered and known for? Like what's your legacy?
That's a really good question. I think at the end of the day, it's kind of like, I hope for the people that cross my path, as I do for my children, is that when they think of Barbie, that they just see me as, if some way or somehow I've helped someone rise and have the courage to become who they were meant to be, you know, then I did my job. You know, a lot of us, including myself, have fears that keep us, that keep us from really becoming who we're supposed to be. I feel like we all have a gift. We all have something special. We all have a talent. Some of us take a few tries to figure out how we're going to align with those things. For my kids, I'm like, if I could change their life, you know, and help them match who they are with what their purpose is, with you know, their career, that to me, I did my job. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I feel about even my team. My whole motto is to rise. We have to rise from wherever you are right now and have the courage to live up to your potential, because all of us are built in a unique and special way. And so the only thing that matters is your story.